part of the Marvel Studios Parliament, I spoke to Jonathan Schwartz several weeks back about Shang-Chi, and I asked him what it was like to sort of delegate the films to you producers. And he told me that you guys basically cherry picked which you guys wanted to do. So what made you want to pick Hawkeye?
I wanted it all. I think, when we were filming Infinity War and Endgame, I was already, we were already talking about what is the future, what is my next project, and Shang-Chi was already starting. So unfortunately, I couldn't be a part of that the same way that Jonathan was, and I love Hawkeye from the Fraction run. I love how fun it is and the banter between Clint and Kate, and I really wanted to explore a female version of a skilled archer as well as telling Clint's side of the story, which we haven't had the chance to in the MCU. So I felt that it was due time for him to shine and get his spotlight, and I think that was one of the reasons why I gravitated towards this particular show.
Speaking of Endgame, what challenges did you encounter as a producer on Hawkeye? Because it's very grounded compared to Endgame, which is time travel, so cosmic. What sort of challenges did you encounter as a producer?
You know what? The TV side is very different from feature.
Yeah.
We have 6 hours of content versus the usual like 2.5 hours in the same amount of time that we normally would have. So it's pretty intense in terms of the schedule and trying to fit everything in with the amount of content that we have. So I think the challenge is really just the fast pace. It's in much faster pace, and I'm not saying Infinity War and Endgame wasn't a fast pace, because it was pretty crazy in itself, but there was a lot more hours of content that we had to put in to the schedule to get everything out. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges on our end.
You guys announced Echo over the weekend. Obviously, Echo is debuting the show. It feels like such a surprise to see you guys greenlight a show for a character we haven't seen, for an actress that has no prior experience. So for us as fans, me and my friends were talking about it. You guys must be so blown away by Alako Cox as Echo. Can you talk about her performance in Hawkeye that made you sort of, let's make her the star of a show?
She is such a, I don't know if I can say this, but she's such a badass in this series. She has really just completely impressed us all in her determination, her hard work, in wanting to make sure that this character is the way that everybody wants. So I had to say there is a little bit of a nervousness in the beginning, because Alakwa hasn't been a part of the industry.
Yes.
To get somebody brand new and sort of pull her into a character like Maya Lopez, it's a big thing, and
Yes.
but she took it in stride, and she worked hard, and she really wanted to prove to us that there is this character who's deaf but is able to just be a part of the MCU and be a superhero in her own right.
That's absolutely amazing. Will you be producing Echo as well, following this grounded show? Are you jumping onto Echo next?
No, there's another executive will be spearheading that show.
Clint has gone through hell and back these past few years in the MCU. He was there at the edge of the universe with Nat. He's gone through so much. It kind of seems like there is no greater stakes than what he's been through. For you guys, what are your sort of like goals, or sort of how do you make stakes in the show that's not as big as Endgame but feels heavy as like what he went through in Hawkeye the show?
I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to also do Hawkeye, is that it is not another universal world-ending stake that is big in that scale. I think what's great about the Hawkeye series is that we're sort of taking that back and giving it more of a personal, character-driven story for these two individuals. And even though it's not big scale in terms of world ending, it has a lot of big emotional stakes for these two characters, and partly it's due to Clint's experience and his trauma from losing Nat in Endgame, and losing his family for 5 years during the blip and getting them back, and how is he dealing with sort of the turmoil of the survivor's guilt, right? Of losing his best friend. How's he dealing with the fact that his family is back, but is there a chance that he might lose them again? So a lot of that we're playing with in the series, and I think that's rich in sort of that emotional aspect for his character.